All right. Let's see, 12 o'clock. All right, we got 2 people in. Can you guys hear me all right? Can you guys see the board? It's a little bright right now. Let's see. What's going on, Brian? All right, so today we're going to go over part of the test, okay? What's going on, Chris? That basically it's the pedigree charts on the back, okay? And I'm basically going to go over how to really read a pedigree chart, okay? That was one of the things that we didn't learn yet, so it's all right if you got to the test and you weren't really sure what you were doing. But basically, we are going to go through that. I'm going to give you some problems on it. And then remember, the test, try to get it in by Friday, okay? This way I get the whole weekend to look over it. And then this way also, all right, how are you, Evelyn? You have the whole time, okay? I'm going to check it over the weekend. Then I can send it back to you. I'll let you know which problems to look over again, and then you can go from there, okay? So really quick, a pedigree chart, all right? If you noticed today, basically right before this video, I posted up another PowerPoint, okay? So the PowerPoint that I posted up goes over pedigree charts. So after I go over this, you guys can check that one out, all right? And it's just under the material, it's just a PowerPoint. There's no notes with it. Just helps you look at the test. So right now, let me see if I can get this. All right. So right now, we're just going to do pedigree charts, okay? So what is a pedigree chart? It shows the genetic history of a family over several generations, okay? So generations, that's talking about it's you and your siblings. You go back a generation, now it's your parents. You go back another one, it's your grandparents. What's going on, Josue? You go back another one, it's your great-grandparents, then it's your great-great-great-parents, and then you keep going and so on, okay? So it shows how your traits get passed on, whether they get passed on or if it's just a carrier, okay? So really quick, what we're going to do, all right, because it shows a key on the back of the test, all right? And it's kind of the same for every pedigree chart. So really quick, you have your female and you have your male, okay? So males are represented by a square. Females are a circle, okay? Now, if you are affected by something, okay, remember we're talking about a mutation, all right? Cells that aren't working the right way. That's when we get through mitosis, right? When there's problems, when they do it too much or too little, okay? You can have an affected cell or trait, all right? I miss you guys too, Evelyn. So affected female, right? It's still going to be a circle because female symbols are a circle. Or for a male, it's still a square, but now you shade them in, okay? And that shows that it's an affected trait. And that means it actually shows, okay? Now, if you go to carriers, this means the trait is getting passed on, but it's not shown. Remember, when we're talking about traits, if you have a big B and a little b, right? If I make a little b, the big B, is that dominant or recessive? Yeah, Evelyn, this is going to be saved on the YouTube channel. So if you got to go to miss some more, you can go. All right. So if you have a cap, right, it's going to be dominant. So that little b is not going to get shown. That's just going to get passed on, where it does have a chance to go on to an offspring. Okay. So when we're talking about carriers, it means that your gene is getting passed on. So we have a female that's passing on the gene. And then we have a male that is also passing on the gene, but it's not being shown. Let's say this was blue eyes, okay? Capital B, that's going to be brown. Lowercase b, that's blue eyes, because blue eyes is recessive. So let's say this is a female and this is a male, right? That's getting passed down. It's still showing the dominant, so you're going to have brown eyes, but it is passing down that recessive gene. Okay, it's a carrier. It's not showing it, but it could pass it down to the offspring. Okay, so these are basically the 6 symbols that you need to know. Okay, you have your symbol if it's male or female. If it's shaded in, it's affected. And then if it's a carrier, only half of it is shaded in. Okay, write down the thing. Evelyn, nope. It's just going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay. Josue, do you write down the whole model? So the model in the test, it's going to be basically, I'm not going to go through it word for word, but I am going to make a different model up for you guys to go. Okay. So you don't have to write down this model. This is just, I'm going to make one over here to make it a little bit easier. Okay. So now there's 2 other things you got to know. When you have, so we have a female and a male, right? And I'm just going to make this easy for you guys. F for female, M for male. When you have this line in between both of them, this means that they're married. Okay. This means they're together. All right. Now, when they have a branch that comes off, okay, this is indicating their offspring. All right. So if you look at this, how many offspring do these 2 people have if you're looking at it? What do you guys think? If we have 2 people, we got a male and a female, they have offspring. How many of them are there? There's 3 of them, right? So what we're going to do, they get branched down, okay? And that's a female, right? Circles are female, male, male. So these people, all right, they got married, they had kids, they have 2 boys and a girl, okay? 2 males, 1 female. Now, the other thing is, I didn't branch any of these other symbols in, okay? So let's see if I do that again, if I make another one. So I'm going to go on to the other side. Hopefully you guys can see. All right. So let's do this again. We're going to do a female. We're going to do a male, okay? We're going to branch them together. That indicates that they are married. Now we're going to branch down, okay? So now I'm going to go out this way and out this way. So for this, actually, no, let's make it a little shorter. So I'm going to only give them two. How many offspring did they have? For this one, right? Because they're married. Here's their offspring. So they only had two offspring, right? So we got female, we got male, we got male, we got male, okay? Now, we can keep going on. So now what's going to happen is we could put another line and another line over here, okay? Because it's the same thing that happens in the family, right? So here's the offspring. You got two males. Now it marries female, and let's say they have kids. So let's say this person only has one. This person has three, okay? So basically what happened was you had two parents, they had two boys, okay? Two males. They got married, okay? So again, remember, these are not linked up with them because they're not related. And they had one daughter, and they had two daughters and a boy, okay? So what happens with this, because I'm going to get rid of this because now you guys should know that circles are female and squares are male, okay? We are going to start to incorporate these other symbols. So you'll notice on the back of your test, it does ask you some questions where it says how many males are affected. So affected males are the solid colored in square, okay? So let's say if I started to just color in some stuff, all right? So let's say I color in that. I do half of this. I do half of this. I color over here. Color over there. And I'm going to do over here. All right. So now what happens is, let's say I ask you, how many males are affected? So when it's full affected females or males, it's got to be fully shaded. Okay. So I'm going to put a little key right here. Affected female. And I'm going to put male. So all you're going to do right now by my chart is you're going to count how many affected female there are. So I want you guys to count that on my chart. So let's say that's blank. That's not affected. Let's go down. We go down over here. Nothing. This one's shaded, but it's not affected, okay? Because it's not fully shaded. We're going to have to count this up for something else. Now we go down here. Nope. All right. So over here. So we got one. So that's that guy, okay? Now let's do male. We got one. Oh, we got one again. Okay. Now, let's say that are carriers, okay? So the carriers, they don't really show the genes. They can just pass it on. So we got carriers that are female and male. Okay? So carriers that are female. Remember, females are circles. So we got nothing here, nothing here. Oh, we got one there. So we got one so far. We got another one over here. So we got two. Now let's do the same thing for males, which are squares, okay? 1, 2. All right, so this example that I got, so far it's been even. Is it always going to be even like this? No, okay? Where everything works out. Now, the last thing that we have to look at, okay, is how they're related, okay? So you'll notice at the bottom of yours that they go on and say, how is number 1 and number 2 related? How is number 4, number 5 related, okay? So how you do that, all right, there's 2 ways to do it. But for ours, they go up to 11. So that means they count every single one individually, okay? So I'm going to ask you guys this. When you're reading a book, which way do you go? Do you go from right to left, or do you go from left to right? Which way do you go? Because this will help you in your last one. When you're reading a book, do you go right to left or left to right? Left to right, perfect, right? And then you also go down, correct? So what you're going to do is, again, this is not the one for your test, but I'm going to count my boxes, my squares, my circles, just like you should for yours, okay? So what you're going to do is, all right, you're going to start at the top. You're going to go 1. Then you're going to go 2. Okay? Now, you're going to go down here, right at the beginning again, right? Like you're reading a book. This guy's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So that's where we are right now. I go right at the top, and basically it's like reading a book. I just go down in order. Okay? So I'm going to erase this right now. So we have some room to answer some of these questions. Okay. So some of the questions they ask you, how are number 1 and number 2 related? Okay. So let's look at our key and let's read it. Number 1, number 2, how are they matched up? If we're looking at 1 and 2, how are they related? Or how are they basically put together in this thing? They are married, right? Good. So you put married. All right. Now let's do, how is number 4 and number 5? So I'm going to put 4 and 5. What are they? What do you guys think? 4 and 5. Good. Siblings, right? So you could put siblings. And also, what could you do? They're siblings, but they're also what? Are they male or female? If they're both squares, what are they? Well, we don't know if they're twins. Not yet. We just know that they're both male. So you could also say they're brothers. Okay? But you can't tell if they're twins or not, because all we're doing is we're basically telling some of the genes. And also, if you notice, they're not identical. One's affected by it, and the other one's just a carrier. Okay? So you got to be careful if you say twins. But they definitely are. You have a boy here and a boy here, so they're brothers. Okay? Now let's do another one. Let's do number 4 and 7. All right, so we got 4 and we got 7. What are those? All right, so if you look at 4, right, it's the square. It's the one that we just did, right? It's one of the brothers. And then 7, okay, means it's a female. So you can write it's a dad and a daughter, okay? Or you can say parent and daughter, whatever helps you remember, okay? And just as long as I can understand what you're saying, all right? But that's basically what you're gonna do. So another one you can do, let's do, am I starting to break off a little bit? I'm gonna put the question over here. Let's do 1 and 10. 1 and 10. All right, so we got 1 and 10. So what do you guys think? What is that? Close. Remember, we're looking at 1 over here, and then we got 10 all the way down here. For one thing, what is 1? Is that a male or a female? Closer. Remember, we got 1. Is that male or female? There you go. So 1 is grandma. Okay. Now I'm just going to put a little cross instead, or a little hat thing. and then I go, and then I look, is this a male or a female? My square. Male, right? So now it's going to be grandma and grandson. Okay? So that basically shows you how to do the pedigree chart. Now you can do this with your own family, okay? So let's say, so right, if I erase all this, give it a couple of seconds. So if I erase all this stuff, okay? Now remember, just for the test, all you have to do is, remember, you just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yours is going to be a little different. I think yours goes up to like 11, okay? All right, so let's try this again. Hopefully this thing doesn't fall. All right, so remember the pedigree chart, okay? Let's do, who do we got in there? We got Anthony. Trying to think. All right, you know what? I'm going to do my pedigree chart, okay? So I'm going to put, we got here, right? So that would be my grandparents on this side, grandparents on the other side, okay? Now, those are my grandparents, right? So I got to put another round right here. So I'm going to drop this down, and I'm going to drop this down, okay? So let's say we got, all right? So now we got that, okay? All right, so really quick, I know I drew it really quick because I just want to, we're running a little bit long on time, but this is my pedigree, okay? So we got my grandparents. Then if you notice, they had 4 kids, all right? So they had a boy, a girl, a boy, a girl, okay? Each of them got married, so boy, female, female, male, okay? And then if you notice, each of them had a boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. They ended up having 3 boys, 1 girl, okay? So if you really want to know, this is Mr. H right here. That's where I fall in the line, okay? Now my cousin, all right, he had 1 kid. That's why it goes down to the line. So he married, he had a kid, okay? The other thing is, before we go, all right, Jose, I'm glad you asked that, okay? When you are putting the pedigree chart, okay? Let's say you have offspring, right? You always want, just like you're reading, okay? Just like you're reading, you always want to put whoever is the oldest first, okay? So in my case, in my family, this is going to be me, all right? And then you go down from there, all right? In your family, okay, you would do the same thing. Brian, Josue, I know you guys are twins. Whoever was born first, okay, you would put you first, all right? You're going to have to ask him that when he goes line. All right? If we ever get back to school, I'll tell you. All right? So does anyone have any questions or concerns? Because now that you look at the test, all right, it does make a lot more sense. Okay, try to get in by Friday, but basically just asking you what is number 8 related to number 7? Okay, if you are right, so if this is me and I'm telling you how's this person related to this person, okay, we're cousins. All right, so you have to write cousins. All right, so guys, I'm glad that you came on and watched. I'll have this saved up on top. If you do have a question, just let me know. Try to get that test in by Friday, and then we'll go from there, okay? So, Anthony, you can either type up your answers, but I did give you a Google Doc where everyone has their own private one, okay? So you can edit into it. If you don't know how to do that, you can send me a picture of it, okay? You can print it out, whatever you need to do, okay? All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.